Welcome to Things You Don't Know. Today, we're going to cover one of the most common household appliances and look at the history and look at some other issues. What am I talking about? Well, when historians talk about inventions that reshape civilization, what they usually say is electricity, antibiotics, or computers. But today, we are focusing on a machine that changed daily life just as deeply, the washing machine.
Yeah, it's not dramatic. It doesn't explode or glow.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, 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 if you're lucky. But you remove it, and modern life becomes immediately harder, dirtier, and so much more time consuming.
You got that one right, Chandler.
And historically, the washing machine didn't just clean clothes, it reduced physical injury, altered gendered labor, reshaped urban housing, and improved public health on a massive scale. Before washing machines, doing laundry was physical punishment. Laundry was one of the most physically brutal household tasks. Clothes were scrubbed on boards, beaten with paddles, soaked in lye or ash-based soap, and boiled in cauldrons.
Oy, yes. This wasn't just tiring, it was dangerous. Chemical burns from lye were very common. So were repetitive strain injuries, back injuries, and scalding burns.
Oh, yes, and fabrics were so much heavier, like wool, linen, and thick cotton. And when they were wet, they weighed several times more than modern clothing.
Laundry often consumed an entire day, sometimes more. In many communities, it defined the weekly rhythm of life. The term wash day wasn't a phrase, it was a reality.
Yeah. So who invented the washing machine? Well, the honest answer is we don't have a single person to pin that on, but there is a turning point.
The earliest patents date back to the late 1700s. They were hand powered devices, wooden drums, cranks, and paddles designed to agitate the fabric.
Most of these reduced scrubbing, but didn't automate the process. You still had to heat water manually and load the clothes by hand and power the machine yourself.
Yes. And just to amplify, Chandler, when you say you did it manually, what it meant is taking the water vessel, heating it on the stove, toting it into the machine, and then in the earliest days, as you say, it wasn't automated. You had to sit there and crank the thing. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, yeah, so much fun, it sounds like.
Yeah. The major breakthrough came in 1908 when the first commercially successful electric washing machine was often credited to Alva J. Fisher.
Fisher worked with the Hurley Machine Company, producing what he called the Thor washer. It used an electric motor to agitate clothes, no need for hand cranking.
I guess you could say it was revolutionary and dangerous at the same time. It exposed motors, no grounding, no automatic shutoff, but people bought them anyway.
Okay, just to say the motors and not being grounded. Now, when we say grounded, people don't quite understand. It's when we talk about that with electricity, we're talking about shock things going into the ground rather than into your body. Kind of a pretty big difference. There was no automatic shut off if there was a jam, like your hand or something else in there. It just kept on going. So anyhow, that tells you basically everything you need to know about how desperate people were to escape manual laundry.
Early electric washers relied on wringers. These were two rollers that squeezed water out of the clothes.
They also crushed fingers, broke bones, and occasionally scalped people with long hair. Now, this was not rare. It was common enough to drive safety reform.
Yes, these injuries helped push early consumer safety standards and eventually led to enclosed drums and spin cycles, replacing ringers entirely. Let's talk about cleaning efficiency because washing machines aren't just tubs with motors. They rely on four interacting forces.
Those are mechanical action, chemistry, temperature, and time.
Now, mechanical action, whether agitation or tumbling, physically loosens dirt from fibers.
Detergent chemistry suspends oils and particles in water so they don't reattach. This is why modern detergents matter more than brute force.
Yes, that brute force is was really something. Temperature increases reaction speed. Hot water improves grease removal, but increases energy use and also increases fabric wear.
Modern high efficiency machines compensate by using longer cycles, optimized drum motion, and enzymatic detergents, allowing cold water to clean nearly as effectively.
Compared to hand washing, modern machines clean more consistently. They reduce the bacterial load more reliably and cause less long term fabric damage when used correctly.
Yes, let's take a look at the post war explosion and the domestic revolution that occurred. After World War II, washing machines, well, they became pretty much standard in American homes.
This coincided with suburban expansion, indoor plumbing, and electrification. Entire housing designs assumed the presence of a washer.
And critically, time studies show washing machines shaved multiple hours per week, primarily from women's unpaid labor.
Yeah, this had ripple effects. Education, workforce participation, childcare arrangements, and even birth rates. Because you think about it, women were the ones primarily responsible for taking care of laundry. And if they were tied up with all that stuff, they didn't have time to get educated or to go to work or to make babies. So, briefly, there's a lot of things we could cover, but one of the things that Chandler, you insisted that I put in this about the washer dryer combo machine.
Yeah, I think these are really cool. These units wash and dry in a single drum, and they're common in Europe and Asia, but less so in the US. When I was in Germany, um, I saw some of those washers and dryers in the same drum, and that just kind of stuck with me. I thought that was cool, and I actually haven't seen any here in the US at all.
They do have them. I've seen them at some of the hardware stores, etc.
Oh yeah, but like we said, a lot less common.
Oh, yes, much less.
Historically, those type of equipment emerged where space constraints mattered more than speed.
Yes, and they're convenient, but slower and often less efficient at drying. But still, they reflect the same goal, reducing human labor even further.
There's always some environmental trade-offs with design. Early machines use enormous amounts of water and even more energy.
Yeah, modern machines use up to 70% less water and dramatically less electricity per load.
And the trade-off is complexity. Repairs are harder. Lifespans may be shorter, but overall resource efficiency is far better.
The washing machine doesn't dominate the history books, but it really should.
Yeah, it might be cleaner. You know, if reduced suffering, improved hygiene, reshaped labor, and altered daily life more than many inventions that we celebrate and talk about all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those technologies that just disappears into the background until it breaks.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And that's often the sign of a truly transformative invention. Well, we could go on, but we should probably close for now. This has been Things You Don't Know. Look, subscribe, share, and we'll keep uncovering the hidden machinery behind modern life. Bye for now.
Goodbye, folks.
And stay curious. Bye bye.